Hey everyone, Jack here again. I got a quick announcement to make before this, just to make sure everyone's on the same page. This episode is actually very old. I think we recorded this in September or October. So if anything seems weird in that sense, that is why. Turns out I have a terrible file system for trying to organize our episodes, and I lost this one. It was lost, but I found it, I got it edited, we're good to go, I'm releasing it now. Secondly, there's been a big gap in time. That's because of me and Austin's schedules not lining up very well. We're just going to consider this the end of Season 1 kind of thing, and starting up Season 2 here in a week or so. But yeah, during this holiday break from Thanksgiving to the New Year's, it's just been too much of a hassle, so sorry about that break. But we are going to get back on it here soon, and I hope you enjoy. Thanks, guys. Welcome everyone back to Tangent Podcast with your two favorite podcasters in the whole wide world. We are here to talk to you about
lots of things.
Many things. Many things. We may tangent off on many topics.
Well, I'm Austin.
I'm Jack.
Welcome back. It's the Mothman! Dun dun dun!
Yes. The what's it?
Harbinger of Doom.
Harbinger?
The Harbinger of Doom.
Is it Doom or Death?
I read Doom. It could be Death.
I think you're right.
You could consider it both.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that.
Let's get into this, shall we?
Well, should we start off with the beverage?
We're starting off with the beverage.
What did you get for us today?
We got us some more science.
Science!
Because last time it was just so incredible.
Oh, that Fuji apple was so good.
It was so freaking good. I was like, we gotta try a different flavor. So we're going with Science Energy again. This time we're going with the Frostberry Blast.
See, I'm excited because blue is like my favorite flavor of everything.
It's great. Which is great because, I mean, everything blue flavored in like candy, drink, anything.
Oh, the best.
It's great, but it's not actually a real thing.
I know.
Blue raspberry isn't a thing, and neither is Frostberry.
Frostberry Blast.
But I'm very... Oh, mine's exploding a little bit. All
okay,
right.
should we go for this? That is delicious.
That is very good.
Oh,
that's really good.
I really like that.
That's good. That's up there with the Fuji apple, dude.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to decide what it tastes like.
Frostberry.
Yeah, tastes just like a frostberry.
No, I can see where they're getting that frost, though. At the very beginning, there's a tinge of it kind of feels like a cool blast, you know?
Yeah. It's kind of like the Arctic Chill Gatorade or whatever.
A little bit, yeah.
Kind of reminiscent of a melted blue raspberry Jolly Rancher, which are the best, by the way.
Oh, absolutely. Again, 0 calories, 0 sugar. I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
It's science. Can't go wrong with science.
Science. Great taste.
I like how the can says "great taste."
I mean, yeah. I always get worried when you have to
put that on your can.
Yeah, because it's usually on like protein bars and stuff. Because usually those
always taste like butt. So
even the ones that say "great taste," like no.
Dude, I don't know. I got this protein powder and it tastes just like a milkshake. It is delicious.
What flavor? I mean, what brand?
It's 6-star.
Six stars garbage, dude.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Dude, that stuff tastes so good.
No. You gotta try BSN Syntha 6. That stuff is the best tasting protein I've ever had.
Yeah, I don't know. This 6-star stuff, vanilla cream, it tastes just like a vanilla milkshake, man.
Anyway, moving on. What was next on the agenda?
We got some space news, don't we? You all right there?
Hot pepper and frostberry do not mix well.
Well... That's good to know.
Did you come up with a space news, or was that my?
Oh, I thought you had one.
Oh, I mentioned like 6.
Yeah, I thought you had the Life on Mars one.
Oh! You're getting the people excited for something that they're not ready to hear. Yes, I will read this one since you seem so bent on it. Jeez, quit twisting my arm.
You left me hanging there with this headline of scientists say we're going to discover life on Mars, but we're not ready for it yet.
Yes.
That just makes me want to hear it even more.
Okay, you didn't say that before, so this is clearly your fault. Everybody send him hate mail.
Proceed.
Okay. This is on Fox News. So, a semi-reputable source. No, whatever. Anyway. I don't need this. It's titled, NASA Chief Scientist Says We're Close to Making Announcements About Life on Mars. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means that
I think it means they're close to making announcements about life on Mars,
Would
Jack.
you just quit it for 2 seconds? Thank you. So I'm not sure if they mean they've already found it, but they just haven't announced it yet, or they think they're about to find something on Mars. But it says, in a startling interview, NASA's Planetary Science Division Director Jim Green has said that the space agency is close to, quote, making some announcements about finding life on Mars, but we're not ready for it yet. I don't know what that quite means or how we're going to become ready, but that's pretty exciting. Quote, it will be revolutionary. It's like when Copernicus stated, we go around the sun. So that's a pretty big comparison right there. Yeah. If he's saying it's like the, why would you do that? But
yeah, that's a
completely revolutionary. It will start a whole new line of thinking. I don't think we're prepared for the results. We're not. That's a quote from him.
So obviously they have something already if they're claiming this.
Yeah, they got something, I guess. He added that he's worried because he believes NASA is close to finding life and making an announcement, but it wonders what will happen afterward, which is a very valid point.
Yeah.
Humans are unpredictable at best.
Well, I mean, everyone seems to be in the race to get to Mars right now.
Right.
And so we're going to find out within 10 years anyway.
Right, with Elon Musk and his ventures and a few
supposedly Russia has said they're going.
Oh, good for them.
Yeah,
So, I mean, the article goes on with a little bit more things of things they've been doing on Mars. They've announced a landing site for a 2020 rover, Jezero Crater. Don't know what that is, but you're welcome to look that up. It looks neat. Couple more. The launch is going to cost $2 billion. You could just throw money like that.
Yeah, that's just chump change for NASA, right?
I guess. Are they government entity? They're not a government entity, are they?
I don't think they are. National Aeronautics and Space Association, right? I don't think they're government. Let me see. I think they're probably...
I think they just work closely with the government.
Yeah, that would be my thought. Is NASA government? Let's see. It is an independent agency, so it is independent.
Cool.
Here's the thing, though. Why has NASA been... I feel like they haven't done much the last few years. Didn't they kind of like get disbanded there for a while? Or
I think what I thought was Obama like kind of put a stop to it.
Yeah, that's
to space stuff because he didn't think it was as important as stuff. That's what I heard from word of mouth. So I could.
Trump's bringing it back with the Space Force,
Space Force.
Dude, I don't know why they didn't call it like Star Command or something cooler, you know?
Because Star Command was from a...
Yeah, well, it's from Toy Story.
Right. I mean, they don't want to sound like a
Star
toy.
Command, we could say, Star Command, come in, do you read me? How cool would that be, okay?
Star Command, come in, do you read me? That'd be great.
And then, when you and I are up in space, I can say, there seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere, and it would be really funny.
That would be great. And then I could tell you that you are a toy.
Dude, if we were in the Star Command and it was called that, we'd get nothing done. We'd be quoting Toy Story all day.
Maybe that's why. Let's see. I don't know. I could be. Oh, see, like I googled Obama NASA, and the first thing that came up was how Obama ruined NASA space exploration.
Okay, that's what I thought because there haven't really been any astronauts going. I don't know when the last astronauts went up, but
How Obama and the left. I'm guessing this is a very right wing site. How Obama and the left killed NASA. This was back in 2016 when that was posted. I don't know. But it also says that he proposed a $19 billion budget for the 2017...
19 billion with a B?
With a B, yes.
That is a lot of money.
For the 2017 budget. So, I mean, it sounds like he was... I don't know if he... Maybe he just changed the way that they did things and it just didn't work out or something. Maybe. But Trump's just like, F it, go for it. I don't know. But that's the Space Force.
Here's my other question, though. With this whole life on Mars thing, are they talking about life that is currently living on Mars, or are they talking about us going to Mars
That's
and
a good
living
question.
there?
I don't know.
Like, have they made some crazy breakthrough
about
how we can live there? You know?
I don't know. That's a good question.
That'd be interesting to hear when they announce. That's cool, though.
That's very
Either way,
cool.
That's really cool.
I'm very excited because, I mean, us going around the sun was a pretty big advancement in science, and he's comparing it to the likes of that. So it's got to be big in his mind.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
That's awesome.
Hopefully it's soon.
Cool. Well, thanks for that space news
Yeah,
there.
you're welcome. What you got for us?
Just a little bit of tech news in the tech world. If you didn't hear, Microsoft announced some new stuff.
Whoa, sorry about that.
They, moving on, specifically announced the Surface Duo and Surface Neo, which are Surface Duo will be a foldable phone and the Neo will be a foldable tablet.
I like the look of them very much.
I do too. My only concern is the Duo phone looks huge.
It does look massive,
and
but bigger is better.
But we always say that when a new phone comes out. Like, I remember if this phone that I have right now would have come out 5 years ago, everyone would have flipped. And like, that is huge. That is a tablet.
Well, I remember about 5 years ago, I remember when the Note 5 came out, and I was like, that is massive. Yep. Or the Note 4 even. I remember
the Note 2, dude. It was right after I graduated high school, the Note 2 came out. And that was huge, because I had like an iPhone 4. And it was like double the size of that.
Yeah, dude, it's insane. Well, and what's weird is I think phones are obviously getting bigger, but they're really not making a bigger footprint, footprint, whatever you want to call it, because we're removing the bezels.
Right.
So we're getting bigger screens with the same amount of space.
This thing has some beefy bezels on it, though. Have you seen them?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, with foldable phones, I understand there's going to be some drawbacks. And on top, bottom, yeah, there's some big old bezels, but left-right is pretty good, it looks like.
Yeah, left-right is pretty much...
And it is not like the Galaxy Fold or the Huawei Mate X where the screen is foldable, because we've all seen where that goes and it's bad. It doesn't work very well. It's plastic, and it's just prone to breaking pretty fast and easily. So what, isn't it just two separate screens and they just put a hinge in the middle?
Two screens that fold around a hinge. And this is big because if you remember the Windows Phone that crashed and burned.
The Windows phones were awful.
Bad.
They were really bad.
They pretty much, and I think everyone kind of thought Microsoft was just going to be out of the phone, like mobile game for good.
And they have been for years.
They have been, yeah, for like 3 years, 4 years.
At least.
I know 2 years ago was when they stopped releasing updates for...
They stopped supporting
Windows OS, like for phones and all that stuff. Right. But now they're coming back, so I'm wondering what... it's going to run just Android, right?
Mm-hmm. The phone will run Android. The tablet will run Windows 10X, which is their optimized Windows 10 for two screens.
Mm-hmm. So the tablet, I haven't looked into too much of it, but it looked like it was foldable and had on the bottom half, it was like half of it was a keyboard and the other half was a screen.
So no, that's an attachment. It's all a screen, but it's actually really cool. It's got an attachment that you can like magnetize on the bottom, and so it folds, and you can have it folded flat where the screens are facing each other, and then the case thing will kind of be hanging on the outside. It's really snug. It looks good. But then you unfold it and you can like swivel the the keyboard around from the bottom, and it lands on top of the screen, so it'll cover half of the screen. But you have a physical keyboard and still part of that screen.
Like a touch bar up top then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And it looks pretty cool. But you don't obviously have to have that keyboard if you don't want.
Right.
And
but that's cool though, because physical keyboards, like I had an iPad for a while, and having a physical keyboard was
on a touchscreen. It just does not work very well.
Having a physical keyboard is, in my opinion, way better.
It's
than
necessary.
Like a virtual one.
But I like how they give you the choice in this. And the little swivel thing, I was like, wow, that's sleek.
Yeah.
But these won't be released. They're in prototype right now. They're not being released until
2020
holiday of 2020. Yeah. I think they just announced it to get some hype up, and they said they wanted to get some developers working on apps for them and stuff like that. So when they launch, they have some pretty cool apps that utilize both screens.
Yeah. Well, I'm wondering, is it going to run pretty stock version of Android, or is it going to be a Windows version of Android? Like, are they going to have their own overlay, or?
I don't know. That's a good question. I know they're working directly with Android, so I could see it going either way, honestly. They worked with Samsung. Microsoft's been doing some good partnerships recently. They worked directly with Samsung on the Note 10.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. I didn't know that.
It's got Windows incorporation.
Oh, yeah, it does have Windows.
So it's really easy to connect your Note 10 directly to a Windows computer.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool.
Right.
They're doing
What's that thing called? Don't they have like a Windows Cloud service they use with that?
No, it's probably just OneDrive.
I thought there was something else.
Maybe. I don't remember exactly. I'm sure there might be. But yeah, and I know they're working directly with Android now. I'm kind of guessing it'll be a pretty stock version.
Yeah.
Maybe some minor enhancements. Nothing like Samsung does to Android, but something more along the lines of what I don't know, maybe
LG's version is pretty stock.
No.
Or like a Pixel.
Well, I wouldn't say it's going to be that stock. That's pure vanilla right there.
I do like LG's. They don't have too many things that are
right
placed over the top.
I used to hate Samsung's, but I've grown accustomed to it.
Too.
I quite enjoy it now.
I think their stock, like keyboards and everything, are garbage.
Oh yeah, it's got much better. They released a newer operating what do they call it? UI, user interface, instead of TouchWiz, which was complete
garbage. TouchWiz was awful.
They are starting a new one called One UI. And I actually quite enjoy it. I'm still using it on my S10 to this day. I usually just switch over to Nova Prime launcher right out of the box, but I haven't. I am enjoying it, so props to them. That was quite the tangent we went on that.
Yep.
So,
well, yeah, that's the tech news. Microsoft's doing some cool stuff. They also released a new Surface Pro 7, is that what it is?
Surface Pro 7, yes, which is like their tablet 2-in-1 thing.
Yeah,
and they're also releasing a Surface Laptop 3, which is really interesting. You want to hear why?
Do tell.
I will. They're releasing two sizes for the first time, a 13-inch and a 15-inch, which is what a lot of people do. Apple does it. Everyone does it. But what's interesting is the 13-inch has Intel chips, but the 15-inch has AMD chips.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know why, but it's very interesting. They have a sexy matte black.
What AMD
version.
chips do they have in there?
I think it's either a 5 or a 7.
Ryzen's?
Yeah. Ryzen 5 7. It's going to be 3rd gen, I think. So, good stuff.
Pretty good stuff. Intel i5s and 7s, I'd imagine, as well.
Mm-hmm. That's
9th gens?
9th
gens.
or 10th. I don't know. 10th are being released now, so...
Are those also coming in? Those are coming out, though, pretty soon, right?
10th gen or the
Surface
Pros?
The laptops.
I think they said November.
Okay. So, yeah, probably 10th gen.
Yeah, I would imagine so, which should be cool.
I wonder why the difference, though. I know that AMD has been picking up some gains in the... They've been kind of picking up speed in the...
They've been doing
processor
good
market
work recently.
Yeah, so I wonder if they're gearing that towards like more power users with a bigger screen and
maybe. But another off-brand thing of that is they just they are releasing their Ryzen 9 series, which is like the i9 series, and it's just super powerful. It's got a lot of cores in it. But what's interesting is those things are normally like $200 or $300 cheaper than the i9s.
Yep.
well, Intel backed down, I guess, and they dropped their prices on their i9s for the 10th gens about $250 a piece.
Dang.
They dropped them, so now they're like $700 instead of $950 or something like that.
Wow.
So it's good for consumers.
Yeah.
Competition is good, so I'm excited.
That's cool. Well, I think that's enough for tech news now.
yeah, sorry. Tangent. That was a tangent. All right, on to the main events. Do we want to do a user entry or do we want to, or a listener entry, or do we want to skip that for today because we already went off?
Let's skip that for today.
We'll do it next week, don't worry.
The story that we have kind of has some experiences anyway.
Yeah,
so.
yeah, we'll do that. But today we've decided to talk a little bit about what is referred to as the Mothman of Pleasant...
Of Point Pleasant.
Point Pleasant. Gosh dang it, so sorry. We've mentioned him in previous episodes. I don't know to what extent. Not very much, I know that. But we get to talk about him more in this episode. So no state this time. No, nothing like that. But just a standalone episode. And if I hadn't heard about this one before researching it very much, so I don't think it's as well known.
Yeah, I had heard about it, like, oh, the Mothman, but I never knew, like, what it was.
See, I'd never even heard of it, so...
I think because it's kind of like an urban legend, we say there's no state because there's been Mothman sightings, like, all over the world. Mm-hmm. But the first Mothman sightings were in West Virginia.
In Point Pleasant?
West Virginia.
Mountain Mama, country roads, take me home.
We might have butchered that, but...
You mean the tone or the words?
Both.
Okay. Apologies for that, but if you enjoyed it, you're welcome.
Okay, so yeah, the first sighting back in 1966, so this is almost 60 years... No, not quite 60 years old yet. But Clendenin, is that how you say that? Clendenin, West Virginia. That's the name. Clendenin.
Clendenin.
Or Clendenin. I don't know how you pronounce it, but one of those two. So this is where the first sighting was. There was a gravedigger and a couple of his coworkers were out getting a grave ready in a cemetery the night before burial.
First of all, terrible job.
Right. Yep.
Don't do that.
And it was at night. They say it was like midnight. Second of all, terrible time to be digging graves.
When should we dig this grave? I don't know, midnight?
Yeah.
No.
Bad idea.
No, do it like 3. What is wrong with you? Continue, sorry.
They better have dang good insurance plans at that job. I'm just saying, like, alien abduction insurance, like, all that kind of stuff. Okay, so they're digging this grave, and they say they saw something strange. So there's one guy, he said he looked up and saw something huge soaring over his head, and it was moving. He said it was moving pretty quickly from tree to tree, so it was darting back from tree to tree. And he said he later described it as a brown human being.
That's racist.
Yeah, this is the 60s, so it's a different time, but he described it as a brown human being. And that was the first sighting of what would come to be known as the Mothman, which is an elusive creature. He's only comes out at night, or we'll get into the times when he's seen. But at the time, this is terrorizing this town of Clendenin and Point Pleasant. So this first sighting came out, and no one really believed the guys. Like, they all thought they were crazy.
As anyone would.
Right. So then the next sighting just was 3 days later. In Point Pleasant, it was just a couple. Oh my God!
I'm sorry.
In Point Pleasant, West Virginia, which is just a couple miles over from Clendenin. And there were two couples. There was Roger Scarberry and Steve Mallet and their wives. And they were parked at this old, abandoned power plant that was supposedly haunted.
I thought it was a TNT plant.
We'll get into that.
Oh, sorry.
So this was an old, power plant. Yeah, TNT plant. So they saw these, red eyes. Just these glowing red lights. They thought they were car lights at first. And then when they realized they weren't car lights, they realized they're red eyes of this creature who was almost 7 feet tall, had a 10-foot wingspan. And so they all get in the car, they're all freaking out and start driving away, and this thing is chasing them. And so he's flying. behind the car, and they said he was going up to 100 miles an hour. So I don't know what kind of birds we have in modern day, but I don't know anything that can go 100 miles an hour.
Falcons, maybe?
Maybe. I know peregrine falcons are super fast, but I don't know their top flight speed.
Also, wouldn't that mean they would have to be going 100 miles an hour in their car?
Yeah, see,
I'm guessing they weren't, because this was the 60s.
Right. Depending on what kind of car they had, but you're probably right. Cars back then were freaking boats, and huge and heavy. So, I don't know where they got the idea of 100 miles an hour.
Clearly, they thought it was fast.
Right.
I'm betting it was actually probably like 50 or something like that, but that's still pretty fast.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, other people have corroborated the thing of saying, like, oh, it probably went around like 100 miles an hour.
See, that's the problem, though, is once you hear something, you agree with it.
Yeah. Well,
If I see something going across the sky after you told me you saw something go across the sky really fast, I'm going to go, yeah, that was effing fast.
Yeah, it's hard to judge, too. Yeah, it's hard to judge speed when you don't actually have a gun clocking it. So, I don't know, but they say it went fast.
Pop a cap with a gun?
Yep.
Pew pew.
Popping caps on those speedy Mothman, yep.
I don't think we're cool.
Yeah, I'm sorry. So yeah, they said it went fast. Went really fast. But they said that also it was a clumsy runner. When it would get on the ground, it would run very clumsily.
Yeah, I did read about that too. Is that they said it was very good at flying and whatnot, but when it ran on 2 feet, it looked not like it knew what it was doing, kind of thing.
Yeah, which is weird. Because if it's a humanoid, you would expect it to be able to move like a human on the ground and fly.
Maybe he's got a different bone structure.
Maybe. He was really tall. So, you ever seen Rudy Gobert for the Utah Jazz run? He looks really clumsy when he runs, too.
I guess that's fair.
And he's like 7'2", so...
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. He's so good, though. Rudy! Okay, back to Mothman. So, apparently this thing chased him to the outskirts of town. And so they went and reported it to a local paper, and they said they sounded really crazy, but Scarberry, he reported that, he said, if I had seen it while by myself, I wouldn't have said anything, but there were 4 of us who saw it. So he's saying, obviously, there were 4 of us to corroborate the story. We were all there. We all saw it.
And this is not the first sighting of it either.
Right. And within 3 days of the last one, too. So it's not like...
That does make me a little bit skeptical. Where, again, back to the thing where if one person says it, you want it to be real, so you might see it kind of thing. So what if he came out... the gravedigger, the occupation guy, not the monster truck.
Yeah, the first sighting guy.
Did he announced it, right? I mean, he told someone about it. Who did he tell?
See, that it doesn't really specify. I wasn't able to find that. I just know that he told people.
Clearly, he reported it.
Yeah, so he reported.
I'm wondering if it was like large scale, like he told a paper or a news or something like that, or if it was just maybe just told a policeman or something. I don't know.
Yeah, we don't have too many details about that sighting. We just know that's kind of the first one. Mm-hmm. But this one, the Scarberry and Mallet sighting, was definitely the first, like, mass hysteria reported one that got, all the way through the papers and everything. And so...
I'm going to interrupt you there for a second. What's interesting to me is Roger Scarberry, one of those people, right? He went into detail about this thing, which was a little weird. If you're frightened like crazy, you don't remember small details. But he went on to say he described the creature as having red eyes about 2 inches in diameter and 6 inches apart.
Yeah. See, but that's the thing. If it's chasing you,
I'm not gonna notice how big in diameter the eyes are or how far apart they are. Also, why would he think to mention that? Who cares?
I don't know.
But 2 inches in diameter? That's a big old eyeball.
Yeah, that is a big old eyeball. And 6 inches apart. I mean, our eyes are 1.5 inches apart.
What, from edge to edge? How far is this? 3 inches?
4 or 5? 4 inches?
So like
4.5? Yeah.
That's kind of freaky. And they're big old bulbous. I'd say probably double the size of ours.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they thought they were car lights, they got to be pretty large,
right.
and pretty bright.
He probably was like, "Oh, what did the eyes look like?" And he'd go, "Oh, I don't know. They're like probably about 2 inches wide, and
Yeah,
I don't know about this far apart." And then they probably just kind of like said, "Oh, he said this," kind of thing.
Right. You're right. I mean, when you're in a hurry like that, trying to get away from something as they were, how close can you get to getting those small details? But it's something. It's some kind of description.
Right.
But all the papers kind of played this off as them seeing a bird or something else, just like another animal.
Right.
But Mallet came back into the paper and said that it was like a man with wings. So he kept up the humanoid description of the creature, that it definitely had a humanoid structure to it.
Mm-hmm.
And going along with Scarberry's description as well, and the Gravedigger's description, that it looked like a man, like a brown man.
We're being racist.
brown hairy man. So later that year, more and more sightings started to be reported in the Point Pleasant area, and that's when the legend started to take shape. So they started calling it the Mothman. People said that when they'd see it, it would like go away from the light, kind of like a moth. Like it would.
Don't moths go towards the light?
Yeah, I have that backwards. Yeah, it would like go into their. That's what I mean. It would go into their headlights and like try, like frighten them on the road or whatever.
There was another report I remember of a woman seeing it outside, and wasn't she holding her baby, or she like dropped her infant baby out of fear?
Oh, really?
Yeah, like that's. First of all, mothers don't drop their babies, so she must have been really scared. But she's claimed to see it. She saw the red eyes and everything, but she said when she dropped her baby, she like covered it, like, got on top of her baby and like tried to protect her, kind of thing. But what was interesting to me after that is she finally got up after like what she felt like was a few minutes and went into her house when the Mothman was still there. It didn't move or anything. But once she went into her house, the thing followed them and like tried to peer into their windows. So I'm wondering if maybe that had to do something with the light in their house. Oh, jeez.
What was that? You got a demon in here, man.
Scared the crap out of me.
Jack's door's moving over here.
Sheesh.
Yeah, so, I mean, there were 8 sightings. Within 3 days of the Scarberry and Mallet sighting, there were 8 other reported sightings, including 2 pretty well-known firemen in the area reported a sighting.
Really? I didn't come across those.
Yeah, they all said that, pretty much everybody said that they saw a very large bird with red eyes, so everyone's getting the same description. And there was one man, this was a crazy one. So, one man his name was Newell Partridge. He was watching his TV, and there were a bunch of strange patterns of light that came on his TV, like white noise or something like that, but in certain patterns. So he got up to go like look at his TV, and then there was a sound outside of his house that he'd never heard before. So he got out to go look outside the window and shone a flashlight out the window. And he said there were just 2 red eyes, but he said they looked like bicycle reflectors.
I do remember reading that.
Yeah, so I don't know if they were necessarily glowing or
reflective?
If they were. But if you look at like a fly's eye close up, how it has like all those like
tiny little spots,
like
whatever.
hexagon type looking things on it, kind of like a bike reflector.
Yeah,
like you could have that. That would be freaky.
That'd be terrifying.
2 huge bike reflector eyes right outside your window. So he freaked out, and apparently his dog disappeared that night. So they think that his dog was taken by the Mothman.
So yeah, that happens. And then, so what's interesting is, I don't know if I should get into this just yet, actually.
Go for it.
So, that word again,
Harbinger.
Harbinger. I don't know why I can't remember that word. So they call it the Harbinger of Doom because at first, obviously, everyone's freaked out and thinking that this thing's causing problems. But then, after many accounts, people are thinking that whenever you see this thing, it means something bad's about to happen. Now, it's basically an omen of doom, saying, hey, if you see this, you're basically something bad going to happen. And that could have been what happened with the dog. he sees the dog, or he sees the Mothman, and something's gonna happen, something bad, and turns out it was him losing his dog. So maybe it was the Mothman who took it, or it was the Mothman, quote unquote, warning him, or showing him that something bad could happen, and it did. This was more solidified, but later on, what year was the Silver Bridge?
Silver Bridge was in
67. Yeah, 67.
67.
So in the first reports were in November, correct? Of 67.
Yeah, November of 66. Yep.
66? I thought it was 67. It was just a month earlier.
No, the first report ever was in 66.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, the first report was on November 12th of 66. Yep.
Interesting.
So the Silver Bridge was
says
December 15th of 67, so almost a year later.
Okay, but I do remember them saying a month earlier, or even days in some cases, they saw sightings of this Mothman.
Oh, yeah.
And, well, what happened is in December 15th of 1967, the Silver Bridge, oh my gosh, sorry, did something weird. The Silver Bridge collapsed, killing 46 people. Well, killing 44 confirmed. 2 bodies were never found. And everyone's like, it was the Mothman. The Mothman did it. Because people reported seeing the Mothman on that bridge.
There's even a picture of something on the bridge, right?
Yes, we don't know if that's official or not.
Right, but it looks
It was something.
pretty crazy.
It does. So, in that case, people are like, he caused it, blah, blah, blah. But then people were like, well, maybe he's just a warning, like I was saying earlier. And so, that was, big thing. It's pretty infamous, I guess, down there. They even gave this thing a statue.
Oh, yeah. In the town, like, Point Pleasant now, it's like...
There's like a 12-foot statue of this thing.
Yeah, there's a huge statue. They have a festival, like, every year now, like the Mothman Festival.
There's a museum.
They do Mothman pancakes at the Mothman Festival. Like, it's like a big... Not like a joke, but the town has, like, embraced it.
Right.
You know?
It's their urban legend.
Yeah, it's their big thing. So.
That's where it started.
Yep.
Anyway, so... but what's weird is everyone was reporting seeing this thing, but then as soon as the bridge collapsed, it was not reported as being seen for a very long time. Like, the reports stopped. So, is that coincidence? Or is it because that happened, Mothman's job is done, he leaves?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I mean, you can look at it 2 ways. Since then, have there been any other crazy...
Yes, there have.
Like, incidents, like, is he causing those incidents, or, like you said, is he warning them?
Right.
So,
do you remember the mine shaft?
yeah.
So the mine shaft was... Do you want to take this one?
Oh, yeah. Well, there were a bunch of miners that were in the mine shaft.
I don't remember where the mine shaft was. Do you?
I don't remember either, but they were working in a mine shaft, and they
I can
said...
find it. Give me a second.
While you're finding it, they said they saw, like, a humanoid creature at the entrance of the mine, so they all evacuated, and then, like, an hour later, the mine collapsed. And so, for them, it was like a warning. I mean, initially they thought it was something bad, so they ran away.
They just evacuated because they're like, what the crap is this? Everyone get out.
So, I mean, it seems like you could take that either way, as if, like, he was trying to get them out of there, so...
Freiburg, Germany.
Oh, yeah, it was in Germany, but... You could say, okay, did he cause the mine to collapse, or did he help them to get out? We don't know.
A group of miners on September 10th of 1978 in Freiburg, Germany, I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, came face to face with a seemingly headless creature with headless, that's interesting, with glowing red eyes on its chest, blocking the mine's entrance. At first they thought it was a man in a trench coat, but quickly realized it was not a coat, but it unfurled large black wings. The men remained in the cave entrance, stunned, staring at the creature until it let out a blood-curdling screech that sent the miners scrambling back out. About an hour later, the men felt a seismic rumble and witnessed the plume of dust shoot from the mine as it collapsed. If the men had gone to their stations and mined as usual, a majority of them would have died. It appeared as though that what they dubbed as the, quote, Freiburg Shrieker saved their lives.
The Freiburg Shrieker. So none of the other accounts from West Virginia, I didn't see anything about a noise. So this
I thought you said the guy with the dog.
Oh, well, he heard a weird noise outside, but it wasn't like I don't know if it was a screeching noise or anything like that.
Could have been.
Yeah, you're right, it could have been. But that's a specific noise explanation, you know. Mm-hmm. It's just interesting that those are the only two. Like, none of the other sightings have, or that we know, have reported that. Uh-huh. But, yeah, that's interesting because it leads me to believe it was more of a warning in that case because he came and screeched at them an hour before it collapsed. So if he were there to harm them or to cause that, he probably would have just done it right away.
Or if they were in the entrance, we would have waited till they got into the mine and then blocked the entrance to go out, kind of thing.
Right.
He was blocking it for them to go in. They couldn't go in.
Yeah. And then, an hour later, it came down.
That's pretty dang soon afterwards.
Yeah, but...
Coincidence?
I don't know. I tend to believe not in that case.
I think you're right. And again, this is a group of people, not just one man.
Right.
And it gets a little bit more credibility when it's just more than one person.
Yeah. I mean, with a group, though, that's all together, you still have to be careful because they can corroborate their story. But, I mean, in West Virginia, you have all these reports from different people within 3 days of the original sighting saying, hey, I saw all this stuff, and all the descriptions are pretty much the same.
And these are not the only examples. There are many.
Oh, no. One of the most famous is the 9/11. Apparently, Mothman was at 9/11.
I did not know that one.
Apparently, people saw him through the clouds of dust after the towers actually came down.
So this is afterwards. Maybe it was symbolizing the radiation. Didn't people get radiation poisoning or something like that? And when the cleanup crews.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what that one was for.
Yeah, it just says, following the terrorist attacks on the World Trade Center on September 11, 2001, rumors emerged that witnesses reported seeing a large crane-like figure in the vicinity of the towers 5 days prior to the attack.
Oh, wow.
And it had been 31 years since any such sighting of Mothman in North America. So that was the first mass sighting of him after, apparently, 31 years previously. So which would have been, 1970?
Huh.
Yeah, so around that time. And yeah, they say that he was reportedly seen through all the debris and wreckage. So that could lead you to believe that if he was still there afterwards, that he was causing it, or maybe he was trying to help people out or something. You know, there are tons of reports that I've heard of 9/11 of people escaping and saying, oh, there was this man that helped me out, but they never find the man. So it's like, was he helping people? Was he causing, helping to cause it? And, I don't know.
It's weird.
But there's already a cause explained for 9/11,
Yes.
The planes. So, I don't know what more he would need to do at that point, but...
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. And then another bridge collapse, the I-35 bridge collapse in 2007. In Minneapolis, there was a bridge in rush hour that collapsed and killed 13 and injured 145.
Wow.
And a bunch of people started to spread the rumor that there was a Mothman-like figure that was there a month before the bridge collapse. That seems like a pretty long time if it's a warning.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But, yeah, a lot of people think, since it's been such a large span of time that Mothman has been sighted, almost 60 years, then a lot of people believe it's more of a paranormal thing than an actual, living cryptid being.
Right.
So it's a ghost-like entity or something to that
Either
effect.
way, creepy.
Yeah.
And one of the another most famous ones is, I don't know if you guys have heard of Chernobyl.
Whoa.
The most notorious of worst nuclear accidents in history. But in the year before it happened, in 1985, well, it happened in 86, but in 85, a bunch of nuclear power plant workers claimed to see a huge black bird-like creature with the body of a man flying around the plant. Those who saw the red-eyed beast also reported seeing a series of strange, harassing phone calls and a string of nightmares leading up to the disastrous explosion. So they were apparently getting terrible dreams and whatnot. On April 26th, 1986, which was the day of the accident, several people saw a huge black bird actually flying around the smoke after the explosion. Even those in nearby town of Pripyat claimed to have seen a strange creature that became known as the Blackbird of Chernobyl. In the days leading up to the disaster, Pripyat was also affected, later evacuated because of the harmful radiation. So, I mean, if people in Pripyat were seeing it, I can't not say it like that, I don't know why, but if they were seeing it, and then it was also affected by the radiation.
They say they saw it after Chernobyl as well then?
They did, okay. Yes.
So that kind of ties in with what you were saying about the TNT thing, because in West Virginia, they had these quote-unquote TNT sites, as the locals called them, that were these bunkers, like these igloo round-shaped bunkers that were there, that they were abandoned at this time when Mothman was sighted in the 60s, but they used to hold like chemical weapons and stuff there, and TNT, all that kind of stuff. And so there was this like system of interconnected tunnels underground.
Really? Okay.
And so they claimed that that's where Mothman's hideout was. And also, a lot of people explain Mothman in the area they have the the sand hill crane, I think.
Oh, right. A certain type of crane bird.
It's what's the exact name? I think it's the sandhill crane.
I think that sounds right.
And so, yeah, the sandhill crane. So the sandhill crane is at the tallest. It's taller or as tall as an average man, and has about a 6-foot wingspan, and it has red flesh around the eyes.
Yeah, it's
so
pretty
people are
red.
Saying that's where the red eye description could come
It's
from.
just like, oh, you're just seeing this bird.
Right. But, I mean, also, to go along with Chernobyl and the radiation there, and then with these TNT plants, there were chemicals that were polluting the lakes there. And so people are thinking that the Mothman could be like a chemically mutated version of a sandhill crane.
Terrifying.
So it's kind of interesting that in both of those cases, and in the mine, I guess, if it was any kind of mine that had like uranium or any type of radiation, that could have caused some type of mutation.
I don't know. That thing was headless in the mine, though.
Yeah.
Which is weird.
Well, I mean, if you look at a moth, it doesn't really have a distinct head from its body. It's just kind of a triangular shape,
so.
You know? Right. Oh, dude, I just remembered one of the creepiest things I've ever seen. So when I served a religious service mission in Panama in Central America, and one night I went by myself with another guy from this little village. I was staying in a Native American, like a native Panamanian Indian reservation, basically. And I lived on this tiny island that was connected to the mainland. And so I went with this guy overnight to camp and to just chop trees and do service, like in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the jungle. So we hiked for like 5 hours, and he doesn't speak very good Spanish, and I didn't really speak his language. So he tells me, oh yeah, like I have a house built there. Like we're going to sleep in the house. We'll be super comfortable. Like it'll be great. So I get there. It's just a field. We have a crappy tent that has like just a screen roof on it. And we just were chopping trees for like 2 days straight. But I woke up in the middle of the night because there were howler monkeys everywhere, just being super loud in the middle of the night. So I wake up, I look up at the top of the tent, and just two huge, probably like the size of dimes or pennies, like glowing red eyes. I'm not even joking.
Wow.
Like bright red eyes just looking through the tent. And it like, I freaked out and woke up and just stared at him for like 15 seconds. And then I hit the tent and the thing went away. But it freaked me out because I'd never seen glowing red, like 2 round glowing red eyes like that. I don't know what the heck it was. They weren't as big as the Mothman eyes,
inches.
Obviously, but they were, I mean, the eyes were that big each. Like as big as our human eyes, kind of. It was freaky.
That is freaky.
Yeah. It was scary. Yeah. So radiation could have something to do with that from these, chemical weapons leaking into the lakes or something to that effect and mutating local animals there. And then obviously you have people explaining it off as aliens or UFOs and, all that kind of stuff, extraterrestrial or paranormal. So those are the biggest theories. Also, there was a theory that went around in the 60s that there was a prankster that had dressed up as the Mothman and caused like the first initial few sightings, and then after that just stopped. But then people got this fear in their mind that there was a Mothman running around, so anytime they'd see this sandhill crane or something, their brains would trick them into thinking that it was a Mothman because they had that on their mind,
Interesting.
So
wasn't
even
the first account though someone jumping across trees?
Yeah, like going from tree to tree, like flying from tree to tree.
That's not something a prankster could do very easily.
Right. Well, and then in the second account, he was flying and chasing them. Like back in the 60s, I don't think they had the technology for a person, an individual, to be able to fly. So it's a pretty interesting theory, but I don't think it holds much weight with the types of sightings. But
yeah, that's rather terrifying.
So that's Mothman.
I mean, there's a few other smaller accounts here. I read that apparently he tried to warn people about the Fukushima disaster. When there was wasn't there a power plant or something there that
I'm not familiar with Fukushima.
Yeah, it's some sort of plant, nuclear plant or a power plant or something like that. But they claim to hear loud whooshing and terrible screeching. As they looked back towards the plant, they saw large black from the distance. It looked sitting on top of a square-shaped building, sat there for about 5 seconds, unfurled large set of what can only be described as large black wings. That's when they noticed the 2 large red eyes seemed to glow from within and with a blood-red hue. They were blinking for 3 to 4 seconds when we saw them. We knew that they were looking straight at us. We knew the creature knew we could see it and made no attempt to disguise itself. But then an earthquake happened and explosions happened in the nuclear power plant. So there's another one about disaster. What do you got about that?
That sounds crazy.
You sound crazy.
I did hear of another Mothman, more recent, in 2009.
2009, huh?
Yeah, 2009. If you remember 2009, this is when the swine flu epidemic started.
Oh, what a good time.
Yeah, right?
I remember everyone was flipping out.
Well, I remember seriously going to school. I was a sophomore at the time. And just going to school, and every day, like, there would just be less and less kids at school.
Right.
It was like, I mean, we thought kids were just, like, dying, like, dropping like flies. I seriously remember one day I was walking through the hall. I remember exactly where I was. And just looking around and being like, there is no one here today. Like, everyone's dying. It's all swine flu. I hope I don't die.
I never got it.
Like, I didn't either. But it was a legitimate, like, outbreak,
Yeah.
But so in Mexico, in Chihuahua. Yeah, that's the state.
Yeah, we've talked about this before, I think.
Yeah. Yes, we have. There were some people in a town that reported seeing a very tall and hairy man with 2 huge wings and bloodshot red eyes.
Wow.
That came to the town and was terrorizing the town. And there was one kid who was like 16 who said that he chased him for 15 minutes on the way home from school one day.
Wow, that's horrifying.
And he was quoted as saying those were 15 minutes of maximum despair.
Maximum despair.
I'm guessing that's a bad translation from Spanish. But maximum despair.
The Dibs band name.
Yeah. That is a good band name. But so there were 2 women, Angela Mendez and Viviana Ledesma, claimed to have heard the creature shrieking, so doing its shriek,
Lots
like you
of
explained
shrieking,
earlier, in an apple orchard. And then, like, a couple days and weeks after that is when the swine flu epidemic started in that area.
Really?
So they're thinking the Mothman had something to do with the outbreak there in Mexico.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Something even more recent than that I forgot about till you said that. is rather recent, actually.
It's the 2017 one?
2018.
Ooh.
So the most recent supposed sightings have been in 2018, just 1 year ago. This was reported in June of 2018, so just a little over a year ago. But in Chicago, people are seeing a large... this is what this account says. It says, quote, "I saw a plane flying, but also something moving really awkwardly underneath it. It didn't look like a bat so much as what illustrations of pterodactyls look like, with slenderness of its head and its wing shape. I know what birds and bats look like. This didn't have any feathers or fur. It didn't fly like anything I've ever seen." Someone else said it flew in a strange swooping motion, undulating up and down. Weird. They said, "I remember thinking that was the worst time in the world to have my phone charging."
Oh, I read that one.
Because he wanted to tell his friends and take pictures and stuff.
Yeah.
Someone else said, "A large black bat-like being with glowing red eyes." Others people just called it a really big owl. Someone said a gothic gargoyle.
Ooh.
So who came up with that? Like, yeah, I saw it. It kind of looked like a gothic gargoyle. Okay.
Interesting. Well, Gothic was the style of architecture in Europe.
Right, but still, who described something like that in 2018?
Well, gargoyles themselves are Gothic.
You're gothic. Shh.
They're from that period.
Stop
of
it.
architecture.
Stop it. No reason. We don't use logical reason here.
Oh, okay.
You know that. Apparently people are rapping about it in Chicago now. So that's interesting. But nothing really has happened in Chicago since then. So people apparently are on edge that some bad disaster is about to happen. Because
It's been over a year, though, right?
Mm-hmm. Unless maybe there was something smaller that just kind of got brushed aside. I don't know. Maybe there's just like a mugging / murder in an alley
So
or
those
something
happen
like
in
that.
Chicago, like, daily?
Yep. I think so. Yep. I wouldn't know. I've never been there, but still.
That was over a year ago. I mean, before that, the longest, like, sighting before disaster was about a month that we said. So
Yeah, about.
I think it would have happened by now if there was something big. But,
Nothing great happened, but I'm sure someone died.
yeah. Oh, okay. We done with Mothman?
Yeah, I guess so. That's pretty much all I got.
I have an encounter story.
I know you do, buddy.
Oh my gosh.
He called me at like,
Oh,
what, it was like 10 or 11 at night?
it was like, yeah, it was probably 10:30.
I thought you were going to crash. You were so...
Dude, I did too. Okay. I saw a UFO, everyone. I don't know what it was still.
This was like, what, a few hours after we started recording, after we did a recording on the last episode?
Yeah.
And we talked about UFOs, and you said, like, quote, "I hope they come and find me."
Oh, yeah. Well, I was talking about how UFOs always abduct some hillbilly from the South who never has any credibility and no one ever believes him. So I said, hey, aliens, like, I have more credibility. Come and abduct me. Like, come get me.
Probe him.
So, no. We said no on the last
I
episode.
said yes.
So I'm driving down from where we live in Logan to Salt Lake. And I'm driving through the valley. So I can see all the way through the sky across the valley, like unobstructed. And I see this bright, really bright cluster of lights in the sky, like way on the other end of the valley. And so I'm driving for like 10 minutes and I'm still looking at this thing and it's not moving. It's just staying in the same spot. And so I'm thinking, okay, like maybe it's a big cell phone tower or something, but it was really high up there. And so as I'm getting closer, I'm just thinking, this is really weird that it's just sitting there not moving. And as I get closer, I can distinctly see 4 separate lights. So they were all on the same side, like facing the same way. And there were 2 lights that were higher and further out, and then 2 lights kind of in the middle and lower. And so it was kind of shaped like a upside down trapezoid, if you can imagine that.
I can imagine that.
So I call Jack, and I'm freaking out because an hour and a half ago, I told the aliens to come abduct me. And so I'm looking at this thing, and it's still not moving. I had pulled off the highway because it was like directly out my side window. So I'd been watching this thing for 10 minutes as I'm driving down the highway. So I pull out, I'm looking at it directly out my side window, and I'm freaking out on the phone, telling Jack, like, dude, I'm seeing a UFO right now. Like,
No, he was freaking out.
This is the craziest thing ever. And I was fairly close to it at this point. And where I was at was bright enough where I could see the mountain range, because I was pretty close to a mountain range. I could see the top of the mountain range, and then the night sky underneath that with stars, and then these lights. So I knew it wasn't something on the mountain. I knew it wasn't something on a pole. Like, I could clearly see all of the sky around the object, and so I knew it wasn't anything like that. But what else was weird is when I was approaching it, I could see like a triangular shape on top of the lights. So it was
Was
just
it like darker than the
No,
sky?
it was kinda like-
something
it was kinda like
light reflecting off
just
of
like a
it?
grayish. It looked like, you know, when you see like the old gray bombers from World War II. It's like that color.
Okay.
Like that color of gray. And it was just triangular shaped on top of these lights, so it wasn't like any type
Was
of
it
air.
attached to the lights?
Yeah, it was like that was the craft, and then the lights were on the back of the craft. But then as I got closer, the lights also started to change. So some lights would turn off and others would turn on, and there were a couple like red lights, and so I'm freaking out. And
It was great because he turned away while we were on the phone, and then he turns back and he just goes, "The lights are gone!"
it disappeared for like 15 seconds.
He was flipping
I was flipping
biscuits.
out. That's when I like started really screaming and flipping out because I'm looking at this thing. I'm pulled off. I took a couple pictures of it. And
I have the
obviously
pictures.
you can't see. I tried to take a video, but apparently the video didn't record. So
The aliens wouldn't let you.
yeah, well the video wouldn't have been any better quality than the pictures. So I am flipping out on the phone with Jack and telling him like, "Hey man, if I get abducted, like this is the proof. I love you, man. Like if I get abducted and you don't see me again, like that's why, because aliens are coming after me." And so I am just freaking out. And then I look back and I started driving again, but I could still see it out my window as I'm driving. So then I look away for 3 seconds and I look back and it's just gone. And so I start flipping a biscuit and screaming. And then I look back again like 5 seconds later and it's back, just in the same spot, just hovering there, not moving at all.
That's crazy.
So I went through that whole night. I went and stayed at my parents' house, and they were asleep when I got there. I got there like 1:30 in the morning. And I was just living in fear that I was going to get abducted the whole night. Like, I didn't sleep. I was just super fearful that I was going to get abducted the whole night, and nothing happened. But I still don't know. It wasn't recognizable. It wasn't like anything I've ever seen. So
I haven't seen anything in the news about it.
that's my... Yeah, I went and looked on the UFO reporting site, the National UFO Reporting Center, and no one had reported anything. There were a couple sightings from Utah that night that were around the state, but nothing right where I was. And I didn't report it, but it was crazy, man.
So this was Friday.
It would have been...
Friday at about midnight is when you sent me the picture. I'm looking at it now. And then Saturday morning, I get a text that says, "I lived." So it was good to see that he lived. It was great.
Yeah, I legitimately was fearful, though. Like, the whole drive down, I was like, dude, I'm getting abducted. I kept checking my rearview mirrors to make sure nothing was coming after me. And...
You know, I always see those UFO pictures, and they're always like insanely blurry and terrible quality and stuff. And I go, "How? We have great technology." And I'm looking at this picture you sent me. I'm like, "Okay, that's
it
how."
looks like I took it on a potato. Yeah,
no,
because I tried to zoom in, like, to get detail.
And you're
but
moving at what, like 80 miles an hour or something like that?
no, this is when I was pulled over.
Oh.
But I zoomed in to try and
Are
get...
you sure? Look at those lights whizzing by.
Those are that's probably another car.
Oh, that makes sense.
But yeah, so I zoomed in to try. I mean, you can kind of see
I
like
can see that there's
like a hump over the lights, right? Mm-hmm. So what it looked like is it kind of looked like when you see a shark fin in the water. That's what the triangle looked like. And so I would have been directly behind that at that point. So I would have been not looking sideways at the fin. I would have been looking directly.
And you can
straight
definitely
onto it.
see that's 3 or 4 different lights if you zoom
Yeah.
in. You can see that that's not just one light. It's a cluster of them.
Yeah. But dude, it was absolutely nuts, and I was freaking out the whole night.
We'll post the picture.
Yeah,
So
I mean it's a terrible picture, obviously, but
I mean you'll get to see what he's talking about.
yeah. So call me crazy, call me what you will. I still don't know what that was. It was nuts. So yeah, that's
Just trying to get a good game of Siege in, and then I get a call from him.
Yeah, it was. I was fearful, but that's
that was great though. I was just like, I told him like, pull off, take a picture. We need it.
Yep. That's our encounter for the week.
Dude,
yeah.
I was. Remember we went to go get food, and I got the 2 steaks for the one price or whatever.
Yeah.
You remember that?
Yeah.
Okay. When we got off texting or whatever, and I started going down the stairs, it was dark. All of my lights were off downstairs. I was reaching for the light switch, and I swear, like, I kept it to myself for a while because I was just like, no, there's no way. But I swear, like, I was reaching for the light switch on the wall like this. I remember it was with my right hand, and I felt something, like, I swear, like, something go like that kind of thing.
Ooh.
I felt like something, like,
Weird.
touched my arm, just kind of dragged across it.
Ugh.
And I was like, oh, that was weird. And I, like, pulled back, and I was like, oh, it just must have been like a jacket hanging up nearby or something like that. And I finally find a switch, flip it on. There's nothing around me. Like, nothing that could have done it. Because I was reaching for the wall, and I got touched on the other side. So there's no way it was anything near the wall.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, something just touched me. And I was like, nope, going to get some meat. I'm hungry. Nope, not thinking about it. And I booked it out of there. I was like,
That's
so
weird.
I don't know what that was. Probably nothing, but...
Well, you know, after seeing this UFO that I saw, and when I say UFO, it's an unidentified flying object. So that doesn't mean it was aliens.
He just means he doesn't know what it was.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Obviously, do I believe it was aliens? Heck yeah, I was scared the whole night. I thought I was going to get probed, but... I was fighting so hard the temptation to just lie to you so bad and be like, dude, I totally went on this crazy intergalactic trip.
I probably wouldn't
have
have
seen
believed you
everything.
at that point.
But I now understand, like, whenever you see these people that are trying to explain their sightings, and they're always like, people are going to think I'm crazy, but this is what I saw. Like, that's exactly how I feel. And you just said the same thing. Like, you held that for a while.
Right. Like, I was like, that'll just sound weird if I say it. Plus, and I tried to, I think my mind just dismissed it. I was like, my mind automatically went, that was nothing, don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, like, but I don't know what that was. But.
Like, the next day I went out to dinner with my parents, and I told them, like, afterwards as, like, a joke kind of thing, but I was, like, legitimately telling them what happened, and they were just like, yeah, you're crazy. It's like, why don't you believe me? But, yeah.
Thing is, you have to be a figure of authority.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about that. Like, if I say that I saw life on Mars, no one would believe me.
Right.
But if this NASA chief that we were talking about earlier in the episode says it, everyone's going to believe him.
Right.
I don't know. I think it's a thing of credibility and power.
How does one get credibility and power?
Basically, you have to say, people can say your name and they'll know who you are. Anyone in the world. Elon Musk, Donald Trump.
I don't think Donald Trump has that much credibility.
No, but people would believe him if he said some things like that.
Oh, that's true.
Not
that's
everyone, but the crazies would.
Yeah.
If you're in a position of power, you have more influence.
That's true.
No one's going to believe you because you're a nobody.
Hey, wow. Take offense to that. Our listeners will believe me. Guys, thanks for believing me.
They don't
thanks
believe
for
you.
standing
They
by
really
me.
don't believe you.
They're
here for the hijinks, not for the stories.
If you've been probed or abducted, you have a support here.
Send us an email.
Yep.
Tell us about it.
Yep.
We'll tell the whole world.
Yeah.
By the whole world. Actually, we're pretty close to the whole world. We're getting a lot of listeners in other countries.
We are, man.
England and somewhere in South America. And
yeah, we got...
Canadian, I think. We got a Canadian.
Yeah, we've got UK. Didn't we have... We had Sweden.
Did we have Sweden?
Sweden, yeah.
I could take a look.
Let's see. I think we had Samoa.
Samoa. There's no way we had Samoa.
There was something... Or maybe Pacific Islands or something. I'm pretty sure we did.
Let's see. We have...
So, aloha, bienvenidos,
You don't know what you're saying.
konnichiwa,
Konnichiwa.
welcome.
Okay, we have United States,
Willkommen.
United Kingdom, Sweden, Canada, Puerto Rico, and Somalia.
Somalia, that's the
Not
one.
Samoa, you
No,
idiot.
it's Somalia. Is Somalia Africa?
I think so.
Okay. Cool. We are expanding our reach now. Well, if you would like us to expand our reach even further, please donate to the Do Fund.
Or just share on Facebook or something, our podcast.
Wherever you're listening, hit like and subscribe. That allows you to do that.
Thank you for listening to us being us.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Hit us up on the medias. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, email.
All of them.
Yep.
You need to start posting crap on there.
I do. I will. Okay. I need to work with you to find out when we're releasing the episodes so I can do that in conjunction.
And what we could do too is maybe some smaller things, like maybe that you and I read about, like nothing that could be covered in an episode because it would be like 5 minutes long.
Just fun
like
little blurbs. And
yeah,
stuff.
it's like a picture and like, hey, this happened. Here's a link to it if you're interested, kind of thing. I think
cool
that'd be
space news or whatever.
Yeah.
That'd be fun. Send us your ideas of what you want us to cover. I mean, right now we're just kind of running with American Urban Legends and whatever else we think is cool.
Yeah, share with your friends. It's really not that hard. Just hit the share button and post it to Facebook. Takes 2 seconds.
Yep.
And if you do, email me proof of that. I'll give you a shout out and I'll say whatever you want to say.
Oh, yeah.
Or we'll do something on the show that you want.
We can have you on the show.
You could do whatever you want. Just, that'd be cool. Yep. We appreciate all your guys' support and we have fun doing it. So
yeah, we love you guys.
Zions Frostberry Blast is a go. Mm-hmm. I'm all out, unfortunately.
Do you like this better or the apple?
That's a good question. I don't know. That's tough.
This one's so good.
It is
the
good.
apple was. We'd have to have them side by side.
Side by side.
Like you get one, I'll get one, and we'll just.
You know
try
what we
them
should do? Is we should get like 20 energy drinks or something.
Oh. And then we die.
Shh. And we just taste test all of them, and we have like a round robin bracket, and like during March Madness we'll do this, and we vote and pick between the two, and then we get to the one final best tasting.
Trying to think of what we could call it, like a playoff of March Madness, like
Monster? March Death.
Because we're gonna be dead by the end of it.
Probably.
Dude, did I tell you about? I did a science fair project in high school. The effects of energy drinks on your body.
Yeah, you told me that.
This was before I knew, like, how bad energy drinks are, especially in mass consumption. Because I was the test subject back then. I was.
Why did your parents not stop this? Is my
They
question.
didn't know, dude. I was like a junior. They're not. I don't tell them about all my school assignments, So I had never had an energy drink before, and so that's why I was a perfect test subject. And I was a fairly healthy, active male at the time. And
I like you had to emphasize the male. I was a male at the time.
I'm getting more active now, but going to the gym, getting those gains with a Z.
Bruh.
Yeah.
Protein.
Drinking my protein shake.
Protein.
Yep. So I did this experiment of the effects of energy drinks
up.
on the body with a couple of my friends. That is disgusting.
Oh, it tasted gross too.
Wow.
Blew up a little
Okay.
bit.
Moving on.
Sorry.
And I had a drink, we did a 5-hour energy. There was a certain Monster Nitrous shot that we did. There was a regular Monster, and then, I don't remember, I think the fourth one was a Red Bull. So I had to do those individually, and we test my heart rate, blood pressure, everything after I drank it. And then I had to do them all together to see what the effects of all of them were.
Why did your teacher let you do this?
I don't know, but I drank all of those.
Let this go?
I put down all those within 30 minutes. And I was going bananas for 2 hours, and then I crashed. I actually had a baseball game that day, and I played really well for the first 2 innings, and then I felt like crap after that, and went home that night, and it was a weekend. I slept for 15 hours afterwards.
Nice.
It was great. But yeah, I don't recommend doing that because you feel like crap after drinking that much energy.
We'll do it for you.
Yes, we'll do it for you.
You ready to relive your past?
I don't know. I have a family now to think about. So, yeah, that was the worst day of my life.
Yeah,
it
we'll
was
figure out something interesting to do. But yeah, you got anything else for us?
What did I have? I had something to say.
Was it actually pertinent, or was it
Yeah,
just
it
another
was
tangent?
pertinent, and I don't remember what it was.
Pertinent to what?
Crap.
Yeah, well, looks like you're going to have to wait.
Dude, I had it like 5 seconds ago, and now it's gone. I guess I don't have anything.
You don't have anything.
I don't.
You don't have to pretend like you know stuff
No.
to sound cool.
No. I don't know anything.
Okay. Oh, gross.
Oh my god. Holy crap.
I don't know why we do energy drinks. They make me gassy.
See, this isn't an energy drink. This is science.
Science.
Science. I'm sorry. This
Yeah.
is science.
Okay. Again, share with your friends. Thank you for listening. Send us some stuff. Follow us on medias. We need to pre-record something that says something like that because I'm getting tired of saying all those things.
We're working on an intro too. Cool intro to the podcast.
I actually haven't started that at all.
That'll add some fun.
I might add some background music to some of the stories too. Like when we do listener experiences.
That'd be fun.
Might have like little tiny background music. I don't know. Tell us your ideas.
Yeah. That would be
I'll
fun.
put a jump scare halfway through.
Just somebody blood-curdlingly screaming. Or like a goat noise. Ah!
Just really wake you up during work or wherever you are.
Dude, I have listened to some like comedy podcasts in the middle of my workday, and I forget that no one else can hear it, so I'll just start busting a gut at my desk. And I'm like, what the heck are you doing? And yeah. So we'll put some jump scares in there to get you and your coworkers at the same time. Because they'll be frigging out, why are you screaming at work?
So yeah, thank you again, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Peace out.
Peace.